Oh, this is Clint Cowpoke. This here's a quickie review of Into the Spider-Verse as I'm walking down the Hershey Trail. Well, not really. So, Into the Spider-Verse is this Across the Spider-Verse, a sequel to Into the Spider-Verse. So, Across the Spider-Verse, and there's a Spider-Man in it, and Miles Morales, and Spider-Gwen in it. And in the comic books, there's at least one version of Gwen that dies, but not in this version. Well, maybe in the sequel. You see what's up with this one is there's a super villain by the name of Spot who has decided that he's gonna get revenge. He's gonna go in and like they do the whole vengeance is mine, we go after everybody thing. So he's like Spider-Man, you know, and he does some crime things. And see, Miles Morales is Pappy is a cop, and Gwen is a cop. And they're both barely captains. So if they become captain, then they're gonna get cacked. According to the well, it's sort of like it's kind of like the Loki verse thing with the VTA, but it's Spider-Man people. That doesn't really make sense, but yeah, it does bear the semblance of an interesting plot hole, however, because technically, how they make a plot twist at the end, spoilers, which involves him going back to the future type into the wrong timeline, and that does beg the question. Back to the Future 2 type of timeline. Does beg the question, how did he get there in the first place if he was in the wrong timeline? Oops. Yeah. See, in Back to the Future 2, it made sense because Biff steals the sports almanac, thus changing the timeline. But it's more like a multiverse where he just switches to a different timeline. So, yeah. So they kind of mess that up. Anyway, so, yeah, they weren't thinking that one straight. So yeah, walking down the trail here, and yeah, so the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse thing. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. So they go on an adventure across the universe. They meet up with several other spider people. It's getting too loud over there, so I stopped. Let's see. So yeah, there's all kind of critters and stuff and spider people. There's a lot of jokes from the shows. There's a 70s Spider-Man, a 60s Spider-Man. There's like different versions of Spider-Mans. There's even the Spider T-Rex. It's in there too. And of course, the Spider T-Rex was at Fanime. That's pretty funny. Cowpoke weren't at the Fanime. Although, his presence felt on the set, he went up to the hat, took pictures next to it. But yeah, actually he sort of was. He was there. he was playing Silly Kelly, but yeah, it was Silly Kelly playing me. Yeah, it wasn't Cowpoke. He wasn't there. Yee-hoo! Well, anyway, so oops. So my review of the thing, the spider thing. Spider-Man. Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, there's a sequel, Beyond the Spider-Verse. This is a part 1. So you watch the movie and get to the end and go like, oh, wait a minute. To be continued. What if the second half sucks? No. They're doing the Back to the Future 3 thing. Okay. There was a Western Spider-Man. There was a Da Vinci Spider-Man. There was other weird stuff. I think they probably Stan Lee would have approved. That's all the weirdness going on there. And also, so it always looks like a psychedelic trip with these cartoons. I ain't never done that, but here that's what it would look like. And it's always amusing, like when you tell it in the 60s and 70s, there was a lot of drugs involved. I mean, the whole Eternals thing is like, okay, yeah, they were on something. Spider-Man climbing up a wall, they were on something. For their own admission, it was mainly pot, but anyway, so Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. Quickie review kinds of gives away things. The characters did well. I think it's the Haley, the chick from girl from Bumblebee. Later in Bumblebee, a couple months later, she was in Bumblebee. Yeah, so there's Haley Seinfeld. No relation to Seinfeld. Seinfeld. Yeah, so you have, in the first one of the writers was a Brown. It's kind of fun. Not in this one, though. But yeah, the Miller and the other guy. This is They also reference the Lego Spider-Man. There's a lot of different Spider-Mans, all kinds of things going on. And some of the other reviewers, I saw two other reviewers, the Critical Drinker, who's too right-wing, and one other guy. And yeah, they need to they need to put up a warning in the beginning of the video. Yeah, in case anybody has epilepsy, they shouldn't watch this movie. It'll cause them to go, and don't see it in 3D, your brain will explode. So yeah, don't see it in 3D. Ain't a good idea. Anyway, so yeah, we have Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, it's really quickie review here for 7 minutes. And yeah, it doesn't need to be any longer. I don't want to give away too much. Go out and see it in theaters. It's going to be a little shorter than the other one, but it's a sequel. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'll see it. I was trying to be as brief as possible around this year road. And yeah, there it is. A lot of moments of saying, not sure which one was the right one.